have CA rallies. They were like youth meetings. This was before the invention of youth pastors or youth ministry. It was just, what do we do with the young people? Let's send them off 100 miles to a meeting out there. And monthly, you'd get on the bus, you'd get in cars, and you'd caravan out those West Texas highways. We'd been to Andrews, a youth rally, or CA rallies in Andrews and different places. And we'd go out there, and there would be churches that would drive 100 miles to go to a CA rally when it was nobody special. It was some guy practicing to be a preacher someday, and they'd give him a CA rally to preach. And they'd drive 100 miles to go to a CA rally on a Friday night or something. You know why? Because we didn't have anything else to do. We'd go to the CA rally. Those were great times. I really enjoyed them. But I was raised in church. And I spent time on the pews, under the pews, around the pews, going back to the back to get drinks of water, being called down by the pastor from the pulpit saying, boy, Johnny Knight, that's the fourth time you're going to get a drink of water during my message. Now, you know, if something like that happened to you those days, you didn't just die of embarrassment. You knew you were going to be smitten hip and thigh when you got home. Me and my little brother, we'd get down on the under the bench, you know, and fight and punch and pinch and scratch and tear each other up, not making one peep the whole time. Knowing if even one peep came out from under there, when you got home, you was going to be beaten hip and thigh. And you know what I noticed about, you know, I thank God for chairs. The chairs is a great idea. We still have the big, huge, made of granite pews that you can't hardly move. But I learned this about pews. Now, I'm not sure if it's everywhere. And you know, Donna, you from Midwest growing up, and I don't know about the Midwest, but I can tell you about the South. And I can tell you about Texas. That in Texas, under the pews of the churches, of the Pentecostal churches, I don't know about Baptists, but Pentecostal, there's all kinds of chewing gum up under those things. Different colors. Different shapes. And as a boy growing up in church, just trying to keep yourself occupied, after you counted all the knot holes in the beams of the ceiling during the pastor's message, and after you counted all the squares of the tiles on the floor, you run out of things to do. And I got under the bench one night, and I was looking at all the various gums that were stuck up under there. And let me tell you something. Some of that gum tasted pretty good. Take my advice if you ever do that. Don't go after the bubble gum. The bubble gum turns to rock. But juicy fruit and dentine, you can work some good flavor back up out of that. And I'll tell you something else. I remember the whooping I got in the nursery when Mama found out where I got that double-colored gum in my mouth. I'm just trying to tell you, I grew up in church.